Alright, folks, welcome back to the Boys and Green YouTube channel. We're just going to do a quick wee transfer roundup and all the rumours I've heard over the last few days. We'll also speak about our second summer signing, shall I say, in Casper Schmeichel. I'm joined by Nathan and Alistair. How you doing, Nathan?
What's happening? I'm good, aye.
Alistair?
Good, thanks.
Aye. I mean, we may as well just start on obviously the big news the last few days. Obviously, it broke. Was it Thursday? It broke. That obviously we'd signed Casper Schmeichel. Obviously, we spoke about on the podcast about it, Nathan. But what's your overall feelings of the signing now it's announced?
I think I keep a lot of What's his name? Casper Schmeichel. I think it's quality, experience. He's a captain of his country. I think it's a no-brainer and a free as well.
Alistair?
Same, mate. I can't add anything to that, to be honest. Copy and paste. I think us as a podcast, all three of us think it's a no-brainer.
Aye, I think so.
And Rogers confirmed that we've got an option to extend the contract, so that's even better for me.
Aye. My thoughts anyway. I think you'd be stupid to turn your nose up to somebody with that level of experience. Um, I'm just glad to have a goalkeeper a first choice goalkeeper in the first place anyway. But I think it's a good signing. I think we spoke a lot about Nathan about the experience that Joe Hart was going to leave behind. Well, I think we could potentially fill that kind of void that Joe Hart's left in terms of in the dressing room.
Well, I was watching that old cup when I think Ben Foster was talking about Schmeichel, and he was saying it's not about what Schmeichel does in the goal necessarily. It's about his experience, his leadership, what he is to younger players and less experienced players. So I think like coming to a club like Celtic is perfect to have an experienced player like that because a lot of players when they come to Celtic, they use it as like a stepping stone. I know we obviously don't think of it like that, but to have a goal that can help players like that, it's only going to be the world of good.
Aye. I may as well. I'm going to do the wee statement that you go on Twitter that's just demanded to the statement that I think it's a copy and paste exercise. But Schmeichel basically said Celtic is one of the world's proper football clubs, a massive name and a place of real passion and success, and that's what Celtic is. That's what football is all about. Sorry. Um, as I said, I don't really read into these statements. They're probably told what to say, and they're not going to come out and say, "Oh, Celtic shite." Are they? So, but I think I think he's like Hart. I think he will be happy to be here because he's been in football so long. So it's he's going to get an opportunity to play in the Champions League for only the second time because he only obviously played once with Leicester, obviously when they won the league. So I think he's going to have a chance to play the Champions League. I think that's probably some of the reason why he's come here as well. But obviously, I don't want to spend too long on it because we spoke a lot about it on the podcast. But I don't think you can sniff your nose up at somebody who's got over 100 caps for Denmark and has played in the Premier League for Leicester and was linked with Man United a few years ago as well. So and so I don't think it's something you should be sniffing your nose at. You can also you can discuss the stuff behind it with the board and that, but in terms of a player, I don't think you can sniff your nose up at it, Nathan.
No, you can't. I mean, I will say this, but I have seen a few fans not happy. In general, the fact that they don't really feel that they're not necessarily but the player. It's just people feel that Casper Schmeichel's coming in the same wages as Joe Hart, and then one of Seagrass is leaving, and that backup goalie for Aston Villa's came in. So we've only really signed two goalies for a total of 1 million, and there's not really been any concrete links with anybody else. Like Ida seems to have stalled. I've seen and all that. So, like, and if you're looking at it as a whole so far, it's been pretty shit.
What's your language? Um, uh, no, I, I get that, but at the same time, I think we talk a lot about money, and I get money is basically the thing about football, and I understand it's completely it's money. It's just money. You will probably get a better standard player 9 times out of 10. But if there's a player with that experience, we can go and spend £6-7 million on a goalkeeper, and this may come back to bite me, but we're not going to get somebody who's been there and done it like Casper Schmeichel. That's just the thing. Now, this has come from somebody who, to be honest, when I first seen it, I was like, nah, I'm alright, thanks. But if we did go and spend £6-7 million on a 26, 7-year-old goalkeeper, then we'd only have him for 2 years, we all said in the podcast. So what's the difference? It's I think, and everybody's entitled to their opinion, but I think at times, people are entitled like too blinded by fees these days. We paid £5 million for Albion Ayeti. What did that get us? Nothing. I don't want to bring up Barkas, got us nothing. I don't think that should deter us from thinking outside the box when thinking goalkeepers. I think I've seen that excuse being put a bit that, oh well, Barkas didn't work out, so why would we shouldn't be signing European goalkeepers or goalkeepers from a foreign country. Well, no, that's not how it works really. But at the same time, I think you're getting somebody who's experienced. I think what's happened personally, I think they've went for that Jensen, but the deals just became too difficult because of the whole thing with Sparta Prague getting him on a permanent basis.
I would say this. If I told you when Joe Hart was subbed off at Celtic Park in the St Mirren game, I tell you what I'll do. This is to both of you. I'll give you Casper Schmeichel and we'll bring in a reasonably rated goalkeeper for another Premier League side. You would have said, where'd they sign? Let's be honest. If you've been sensible, that's what you would have said. And as regards Twitter and online, you're always going to get people that moan. That's unavoidable. Celtic's getting too big a fan base for us all to have the same opinion. So, anyway, they're here now, and that's all we need to do is get behind them. You can't change it.
I think that's perfect. Well, that's the way I'd put it. Nathan.
I can't really disagree with
To be honest, I think that's the way as I've always said, I'm consistent with this. Once they're in a Celtic shirt, I think that goes for everybody. You get behind them no matter who they are. But um, we may as well just move on to the other goalkeeper signed. I don't, is it Sinisalo or something? I don't even know it. Obviously he's a Finnish goalkeeper. He's pretty young in terms of a goalkeeper. Obviously I think he's going to be the number two and probably the understudy to Schmeichel, Nathan. But I think that further adds to the Schmeichel thing as well because he'll be able to teach this guy we're getting from Villa, well, signed, sorry, from Villa, more give him more experience in the hope that in 2 or 3 years he could step up and be the number one goalkeeper. And I think that might be what the thinking is.
Well, I mean, if you look at obviously what Celtic done with Hart and what they're doing with Schmeichel now, you can't have it being the same process. Or we'll wait 2 years and then we'll get another sort of old goalkeeper. You need to look ahead, and I think for once, we've all been critical of the Celtic board that they don't look ahead, but I think with this one it shows that vision that we're going to have a experienced top class goalie teaching a younger, highly rated, by the way. Like
Aye.
people at Villa, people at Exeter were all like saying how much of a good goalie this guy will be. So, and he was the player of the season last season for Exeter. So, it can only be good things.
And have you noticed how much he actually looks like Schmeichel? If you actually looked at then as though they could actually they look very alike.
Aye.
Very alike.
Obviously, as Nathan said, he spent most of the time at Exeter. Obviously, he's an Aston Villa player. Alistair, you know about Aston Villa and probably the two combined.
Well, he's never played for Villa, so I've never
But
seen him.
did the Villa fans think that he's decent, or did they think?
Yeah, well, they're very gutted because and a lot of Aston Villa fans said he's never going to replace Martinez, obviously. but their plan was for him to be number 2 and get rid of the daddy they call Olsen. So that was
Hmm.
the plan. So and but I was told by friends that support Villa that that they're convinced that Villa must have a sell on to sell him for £1 million. They were astonished by how cheaply we managed to get him, but I wasn't complaining, yeah. But to answer your question, Joyce, yeah, they're a bit gutted.
Aye, well, we made 45 league appearances, but we made 50 overall appearances. For Exeter last season, they kept 14 clean sheets. I don't think you can really look into the clean sheets because there's four people ahead of him, pretty much, who are, you know, defending and stuff. But he's also got 5 caps for Finland. He played against Scotland, surprisingly, when before the Euros. So he has got a wee bit of experience. I think he's still a young goalkeeper, obviously, and that's a fact, but I think that's what he's there to do. He's only 22 that I'm reading there, so for a goalkeeper, that's extremely young. Um,
Yeah, and even if he stay, even if he's number 2 for 2 seasons, he's still only going to be 24.
aye.
He's still young for a keeper, so it's a
Nathan, do,
win-win for me.
Nathan, do you think that is the plan? Do you think that? Do you think the? I know, as you said, we've been critical of the board. Do you think the board are actually doing something that's forward planning for once, or do you think they're just it just looks like that way, or do you think there's genuinely some sort of forward planning there?
I personally don't see why the boy would come for Aston Villa when he was on loan getting good game time, why he would come to a permanent on
Aye,
Celtic if the
that's a good.
plan was for him not to play.
I think because there must be something in it. I don't know. They must have told them if you do well for you'll be Schmeichel, and then when Schmeichel leaves, if you can do well enough, you can either get a move or you can stay here and become number one. That is a good
Mm.
point. I never really thought about that, but that is a
I
good
tell
point.
you, I tell you another thing as well. Um, Finnish goalkeepers will be used to playing in plastic pitches,
Mm.
so maybe that's something.
Have we got
We
any of them
call
in the league?
Marnock,
Come
Come
on,
on, look.
aye,
we
so we
call
have it.
Marnock, so.
Um,
Uh, and they'll play the cup games. I've no
aye.
doubt in my mind about that.
I think the two goalkeepers are solid signings because I think the other two goalkeepers that we currently have as well are just rotten. Um,
Hmm.
and that's just I'm sick of Scott Bain. If he gets anywhere near a Celtic shot after bringing in two goalkeepers, then we are severely doing something wrong. But it can't be, as Nathan said, just to help send off on on the player. It can't. I know why I pronounce his name because I would butcher it. But I think it can't be a, a situation in 2 years where Schmeichel's gone. Or bring up Fraser Foster.
Aye,
It
Yeah,
can't.
well, I
It
was
can't be
going to,
that because
as
at
much
that.
as I love Big Foster, no thanks.
Aye,
Been
because
there, done that.
at that rate, we in another 2 years after it, we're ringing up 50-year-old Arthur Boric to come back. But
hmm.
um, but aye, so I think, but overall, it's a good signing as long as there's forward planning in place. That's this will make this a good signing if that is the plan. If it's not the plan, then we'll just be in the same situation, and it's just somebody else picking up a wage at the end of the day. We'll go to the last probably like rumours that's probably concrete at the moment. Looks like Bernardo's probably going to be close to a £3.4 million move along with a 30% selling fee. That was according to the Portuguese paper at Ebola, I think called Ebola or something.
Ah,
Um, Nathan, I'm going to come to you again about this. We spoke about Bernardo on the podcast as well. Do you think that's another one that's a good sign getting over the line?
Well, as I said in the podcast as well, I don't think people actually give Bernardo enough credit for the player he actually is. Like the Champions League campaign, he was arguably our best player, and the cup final, he was the one that, in a bad performance for Celtic, you've got to say, had that bit of magic, took the shot, and then you see what happens when you take risks. So I think it's a no-brainer. He's young, he's the captain of the Portuguese under-21 team. Like, no brainer for me.
Alistair?
Same. Yeah, I, I do think, I do think it's a smart move, and at the end of the day, you're not going to lose money on them.
Aye,
So in it, you're you're buying the Portuguese under 20, under 21 captain. So,
aye.
so I mean, I think at that money you can't complain.
And because I've been consistent when it came to Bernardo, I've been consistent all season about him. Ever since he kind of broke into the team, and I know he had a really slow start. Then around winter, December, January time, that's when he kind of got into the squad a bit. Because that's when David Turnbull not left, but as well. So, and I've heard a lot of fans like saying, "What has he done to merit a fee of like 4, 5 million pounds?" And I'm like, he's had moments, and where a player who's young, they're going to have moments, but at least they've come in and contributed. We've spent 2.5 million on Odin Thiago Home, who's contributed up to this point.
Next to nothing.
No, he's not contributed anything. So I think Bernard, I do agree with you. I think some people don't understand how much Bernardo actually, has done. He scored a decent amount of goals, and he scored against Rangers, and he had the shot that obviously he'd have scored in the Scottish Cup final with the turn in the midfield. So there's potential there, and he's only young, so if you can get him in a contract, and probably maybe one of our midfielders leaving, I think he's going to have a bigger role in the squad this season.
Yeah, but
And
what I would say is Bernardo can't be the replacement for O'Reilly.
No, no, definitely,
I agree with that.
no, definitely. Um, so I don't know what's going to matter really. I think but I do still think he will leave, and I think if he does leave, I think we're all agreeing that they will bring in another midfielder because I think that's just what's needed. But for me, Bernardo, it's a no-brainer for me. I think, and if anybody's, if you're entitled to an opinion if you don't think it, but it's for me, it's a no-brainer. Um,
Josh, I'll say this about Bernardo. You look at the three main contributions he made: the Raw at Christmas, the pass for leaders, goal at iBox.
what
It's,
the team in that
it's for,
pass?
it was him that made the pass for the one that went through Butland's legs, and the cup final contribution. So there you go.
Aye, no,
They're,
that's
they're 3 and 4 derbies, I think,
aye,
they would have played in.
aye. So, and as Nathan said about the Champions League as well, he's turned up in the Champions League games, um, as well. So, for me, just end off in Bernardo. I think it's a no-brainer. I think it will be done in the next few days, and then we can obviously hopefully move on to other targets. Um, One of those targets we've been linked with is Michel Ange. I am not going to pronounce the third party's name because honestly, I don't want this to sound bad, but um,
So,
I'm no that I don't want to butcher it. But he plays for is it Royal Antwerp? He plays for, and
yeah, Antwerp, yeah.
according to media in Belgium, he's spoke with Brendan Rodgers about a potential move, but he's also get interest from French club Rennes as well. So we'll see how that goes. But Nathan, I think you've made yourself clear about the wingers at this club, so I think you'll be quite happy if we could get maybe
I,
him in.
gen- I genuinely think all the wingers apart from James Forrest and Maeda are rotten. And James Forrest shouldn't even be getting near the team at this age. So genuinely, if you look at it, we've only got one winger that I would say is up to Celtic quality. And
That's
even
nice.
at Maeda's not really as a winger. Maeda isn't really your typical winger, like skillful, put the ball in. Maeda's just a great work player who's probably my first name in the team sheet. But if we've got somebody on the other side that can put quality in.
Aye, I would like to see a winger be put in. Alistair's,
Yeah,
I,
yeah, the only good thing about this Belgian lad, he can play on both sides. I'd like wingers that can play on both sides because it gives you more options.
aye. No, I think so because as Nathan says, the wingers we've got at this club, and I don't want this to sound bad towards James Forrest, but I'm kind of putting him out the no equation, but you know, yes, James Forrest come and done a brilliant job, but the fact that we're relying on him to get us through a season should not be happening. So, as Nathan says, we've only got one winger that I would actually say has been up to scratch.
I would
Lewis,
agree.
Lewis Palmer's good at like good stats, look good, but if you actually see if somebody was look at Lewis Palmer and stats alone, do you think he'd be a 20? He could be a £20 million player that could be leaving because his stats are actually okay. But
He should be with the ability he's got, by the way.
if you watch him play, you think you're pulling your hair out.
I'm not getting into me and Nathan's favourite subject, but he's not a winger.
Yeah,
He's
No, I'm
definitely
gonna.
not a winger.
no, but I just think it needs to, and I'm glad they're looking. Even if we don't get this Michel Ange guy for Belgium, and I'm glad they're looking at some people in that position because it's in dire need of something. The fact we went for Jota and Abada to Luis Palma and Nicholas Kuhn is criminal. Is criminal, and I still think Palma could be decent, but he needs to be a lot more consistent. I think when Palma's on it, Palma's on it. I really do. I think there's a player on Luis Palma. I think when we saw it, we spoke about it from the September to December, like November. Luis Palma, like he was on it.
Did was Lewis Palmer's goal at Ross County on the short list for the goal of the
I
season?
think so. I think it
Pretty
was
sure it was.
until
I
the
know
goal that
Kyogo got it,
um,
probably
I think it,
because Josh was voting all the time, to be fair.
I think as well, but I think we need to be looking at wingers because, as I said, the quality is just it's so lacking in that position. And if we're looking at players, there's talk about fee of up, I think fee of £8 million or something, which
8 million euros.
I'd be shocked if we spent that on a winger, but
Yeah,
hopefully I'm
pleasantly shocked.
pleasantly shocked,
Pleasantly.
shall I say. But I mean the last winger we spent big money on wasn't too bad, was he? So, um,
Well,
but
6 million, no big money, but I know what you mean.
it's big money for Celtic at this point. um, no, but I think wingers also one of the main positions for me. To be looking to strengthen.
Benfica must hate us, by the way.
Uh,
Hmm.
I think that's why there's a big selling clause now with Bernardo because I'm not making that same
Yeah.
mistake. Um, um, may as well go into outgoings. There's not only really been I know own that's left, but in terms of rumoured outgoings, there's only been kind of one, and that's Benji Siegrist could be going to join Get Off Me, which is quite funny. But I think his club in Romania, Rapid Bucharest. Nathan, what do you think about Siegrist? You just want him at the club at this point because it's
You
just
know,
getting
but there's so many players at Celtic that are just collecting a wage that just aren't good enough. And Seagrist is probably the prime example of that, man. But seriously, the guy just needs to go, man, honestly.
the thing I've got with Siegrist is I think he has got ability. I just think his mentality is all wrong. I don't think he's got the
Nah.
mentality to play for Celtic.
I don't think
Alice,
he can handle it.
Alistair, what do you think about it? Honestly, I wish Neil Lennon would take James McCarthy and Stephen Wills with him,
Well,
but
I was going to say, can we ask him if he wants a centre half by the name of Stephen Wells for
uh,
£3 million, please?
I mean, I don't know if the guy's to a knock to the head. He did fall off a bike. Hope you're alright, but um, he did actually, but he fell off a bike.
Yeah, Dad.
Unlucky. Uh, but so I don't know if he's to a bank he and he thought I'll go and sign Secrets, but I'm not complaining. But Secrets just has to go. It's it was a sign at the time. I thought right, okay. Secrets was I honestly thought once Heart retired could have been on number one at the time. I genuinely thought that because
Because
he
we
had
were at the Dundee United game where he was out of
a
sight.
you know it was good for Dundee United, and I thought well maybe that's a good number two. It's just not worked out. How many appearances he's actually made for Celtic? Honestly, I
Two,
had two
two.
appearances, and he
Competitive
And
True.
I seen something. He's on over 10 grand a week.
Yeah, well,
Mm.
rumour has it, and I know we don't like discussing the other side in this podcast. The reason he got a big wage was they wanted him to replace Alan McGregor, and when they picked us, they decided to give Alan McGregor the extra year's contract because he didn't have time to pick up another goalkeeper.
Aye.
That was the
I,
rumour at the time.
mhm. But I just said, Nathan. I thought there's so many players at this club that just need to go because they're stealing a wage.
Mm.
Scott Bain's another one. Like,
Both of them could go.
both of them could go, but then we'd only left with 2 goalkeepers.
That
Oh, no, but then
that
you
young
could
boy.
give one of the young. Sorry, Nathan, but then you could give one of the young ones a third choice. I would rather that than have Scott Bain sitting there,
I just
personally.
and the fact that James McCarthy's still in our books, it's just
Apparently, he's been told no to go to training.
he's not appeared in anything Celtic related in about a season. He wasn't even in the team photo.
He he doesn't even play for the B team, by the way.
It's
No,
just
you would.
it's weird, man. But
That,
we already know all this stuff. Other outs obviously with Alex Ivanovic has left. Nathan Heaves another one. Bye. Don't let the door hit you on the way out.
I mean, that was the first player we actually met. Like,
Aye.
I think
Nah.
under Ange, I think it was. Aye, but
I think that's
apart
Taylor.
from he had ability as well, man. Like, you know, he could shoot the ball, but he was just so predictable, and it was just his mentality was just completely wrong.
again, attitude.
Aye. I think that says it all. When the only thing we can kind of say about a player is he's he was the first player we met. We can't
I
actually
like
remember
I
any
liked his
Celtic moments.
song though when he scored. I'll say that for him.
Nah, but don't let the door hit you on the way out. Hope you're there, alright. Eh, the other one, Vata.
I said that, but
Don't let the door hit you on the way out. Stop living off your dad's name. You might actually become something.
Hmm.
Anyway, I think that tells you what I think of Rocco Vata. But
I thought you were
um,
talking about
no, I'm a bit more sympathetic for him. I think he can still become. I just genuinely think it didn't work out for O at Celtic. I don't think O is. O's one of those players for me, Nathan. I wanted to see succeed, but it didn't happen. It didn't seem to click for him. He was given a chance. He was given a
You
chance when
know,
Kyogo maybe wasn't firing, and he still couldn't make full advantage of it.
I actually think he will succeed. Because I genuinely I see a player, I know he's very raw, he's young, but he's, we talk about the lack of, attitude for Hacks Ivanovic and Vata, players like that, all had the determination and all that. He was just lacking a bit of killer instinct, I think, once
Aye,
he gets that. He's only young coming for South Korea, like, he was already an international, like, I think he'll be a good player, personally.
aye. Well, he's going to a good league in Belgium, Alistair, isn't he? So I think he could
I'm a wee
reasonably.
bit I'm a wee bit fuming from a Celtic point of view, Will. I cannot believe we've let him go and we're down to one striker as we speak. But
Aye.
that's another story.
But I think the fee we were getting is it 4.3 million or
Well,
3.4?
it was 2.5.
2.5. Well,
But they
that
were
fee
a
was.
wee bit, they over-egged it a wee bit.
But
I
even that
think,
fee, even that fee, I think you're getting back the money pretty much.
yeah, pretty much. Aye.
So, I think O had the attitude, as you said, Nathan. But I don't think the ability was lacking. And there's only so much you can go with attitude. See, when the ability's not there, it's just. I think it's time just to say bye and you move on. Pretty much, and I think that's what Celtic have done. To be honest,
Mm, agreed.
aye. But I
Mm.
don't. I think that's kind of the last for any sort of rumours. Obviously, Ida, we don't know what's going on. It seems to be kind of.
I'm fed up with it.
I'm
Just
fed
move
up.
on, man, honestly. I'm bored of it. he's not coming. Get somebody else, or wasting our time than dilly dallying.
We're going to have to get somebody else, even if he's coming or not, because as Alistair says, we've literally got one
One
striker.
other two.
You,
Other two.
you imagine the game on Saturday night, Kyogo, because even then you'll be and take a breath. Nobody be there.
Aye, exactly.
Touch wood that doesn't happen, but
But I do think if we're going to get either, I think it is going to be a waiting game. I think it will be a
I
waiting
just
game.
have not got the patience.
Neither that.
I don't think there's anything. If it is going to be a waiting game, Celtic. What I don't think Celtic are that stupid. They will have other targets out of that because, as I said, they've only got one striker at the moment. They wouldn't have
Got,
sold all if they weren't
got
confident in getting
Aberdeen.
somebody else in.
Got to Aberdeen.
Well, that's if he's not into taking, but it depends. And to be honest with me, it depends what they're asking for him again.
But we're just going to have to bite the bullet on somebody.
We're going to
I'd
have to.
I'd rather bite the bill I need than Majowski.
Well, because we're not a game reader, but if it did become a point, where either it was taking too long and Norwich were being a bit, and Norwich are well within their rights to be awkward about it because
It's a game of poker.
aye.
Game of poker.
And if that was the case, I think Miovski would be my next target after, either if we couldn't get him in, but hopefully we will get him in.
See, to be honest, if they both, we're not getting both, but in a dream world, I'd love both.
Aye, but we're not. It's just, but aye, I think either's going to be kind of. We're going to wait a while. I think. I think it was telling they only got 30 minutes or 33 minutes.
I didn't understand that.
And then his manager comes out and says, "Oh, he'll be a key player." Well, why did you sub him after 30 minutes then?
Because they were getting gubbed.
So I don't think, and people are looking at it and go, "Oh, he's not coming." Then what else is his manager going to say? So I think it's one of these comments.
Well, we could buy DC United striker Christian Benteke. That would be a good idea.
Nope. Man's done nothing in football for about 5 years. Has he actually done anything since he left Villa? Let's be honest. No. He's not done anything.
It's top goal scorer at Power. You take Eddie back.
Eddie actually done.
We're talking about Eddie and Benteke.
But I think either's going to have to be a long kind of waiting game.
But I fear that Eda'll be the last signing and the last day. I think that's the way we're heading.
If you're going to go for one striker up to the deadline day, somebody in that Celtic board and scout have got to get a mental check. That is ridiculous.
They'll go a scouting team for the start.
I never said. I think we'll bring in somebody else.
They need to be 3 strikers. I've said it for the start. How we people are like, oh, 2 strikers. We need and we can't. People are saying, oh, Maeda can play up front. No, he can't because there's no another winger on that side that can realistically is good enough unless you want to play James Forrest again.
I think if you're going to play Maeda up front, if we get a point playing Diaz and Maeda up front after the window, it'll be a sign of a bad window because it's patchwork pretty much then at that rate.
Yeah.
Obviously, to end off because we're near about 40 minutes here, but I just want to kind of ask, he's kind of just happy that we're now starting to get, it seems we're getting rolling with targets now after weeks, as we discussed in the podcast, a kind of radio silence, Nathan.
I wouldn't say happy. I'd say content. 2 goals and 2 players were linked to on loan, who were on loan last season. So I'm not buzzing, but I expected this. If I'm being a bit arrogant about it, I did expect us to buy a goalie that was mandatory, and I expected us to get the 2 players on loan. So until we actually start buying positions like a left back, winger, and 2 strikers, I'm not going to be happy because that's mandatory, in my opinion.
I'm kind of. I'm a bit like Nathan, which is worrying. I'm not buzzing, but at least things are moving. I'll say that. not as
Aye.
fast as I would like them, but at least things are moving. But hopefully, hopefully by the time we get ready for the Kilmarnock game, we've got two or three more in.
Aye.
That's what I'm hoping for.
Aye, hopefully. But I think we may as well end there because I don't think there's much else to kind of talk about. We've covered
No,
pretty
but
much everything.
No, another thing actually, and
Aye.
as you said, it's not a Rangers podcast, right? But I'd like to send my goodbyes to Tavernier.
no way yet.
Oh, wait, yeah, man.
He's away. He's away.
Anyway,
Um,
it's not a Rangers podcast. Shut up. Um, but aye, we'll end it on that. But aye, so hopefully over the next few weeks we start getting more links, man, with players, and hopefully players that we actually want to get brought in. But aye, we'll probably leave it there. I don't know. I don't know. I might be back with post match in the game against DC United.
You're at half 3 in the morning, you know you'll be doing it
No,
yourself.
day Monday. No, day Monday. I think the game's on Sunday or Monday morning technically. So, but I will.
No, Saturday.
Is it Saturday? So we'll be
Tomorrow,
back with some
tomorrow
sort of
night,
reaction.
effectively.
We'll be
Early
with,
Sunday morning,
aye,
12:30.
we'll be back with some sort of reaction. But thanks for joining us, Nathan and Alistair. And until then,
no
see you
problem.
later. Hail, hail.